SSI $1,400 fourth stimulus check update. Supplemental security income. I have all the details and what you've been asking for right here in the video, so let's get right into it. All right, now this is a question that I continue to receive a lot from many fixed income beneficiaries, including Social Security retirement, disability, SSDI, survivors, SSI, VA, and RRB. Now, regardless of the fixed income beneficiaries that we're talking about, the answer is going to be essentially the exact same. So whether it is Social Security retirement or SSDI or SSI or VA, essentially it is all the same thing. However, as of recently, I've been getting a lot of questions from SSI beneficiaries specifically asking for a dedicated SSI video, and that's what I'm going to give to you right here in this one. So let's get into it and discuss what's going on and the latest details and everything you need to know as things continue to change very, very rapidly. However, really fast before we do, thank you so much for joining me. If you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, please make sure to subscribe by hitting the button right down below the video, as it's totally free to do so. And because I am your one and only daily advocate, I'm here for you right by your side every single day, watching all this new information hitting the wire, doing all the necessary research, and breaking it all down right here in these short videos to help you out and, of course, to keep you updated with what is actually going on, as like I said, things are changing very rapidly. So again, thanks so much for joining me. Please subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet, and I'll continue to be here for you with all the latest updates and to point out anything out there right now you can possibly grab and or take advantage of, including money, benefits, checks, programs, stimulus, or anything else like that. Of course, I want to bring it to your attention right away, as we all completely understand money is very, very tight right now, especially for the low income and fixed income beneficiaries, and in this case, SSI beneficiaries who have a monthly benefit, even the maximum benefit, well below the federal poverty line. Again, they got to fix that one very fast here. But again, I want to be here for you in any way that I can be. All right, so let's get into it and talk about an SSI $1,400 fourth stimulus check. Where do we currently stand? What's going on with this thing? And is something actually coming, or where do we go from here with all these updates, all these announcements, all this new bills, packages, proposals, and amendments coming out of Congress? What are they actually doing? Are they actually doing something for the low income and fixed income? And like I said just a second ago, yes, this does also apply to all the fixed income beneficiaries that I mentioned earlier. But again, I wanted to make a dedicated SSI video right here. All right, so let's quickly talk about what's going on here. However, I just want to throw this out there as well from the very start. As of right now, a fourth stimulus check has not been approved yet. But again, I still want to give you the updates as far as what's going on, because as of recently, some pretty big things have changed. Now, number one, obviously we all know this much. Some new lawmakers are going to be coming in, right? So as a result of the midterm elections, yes, absolutely, we will be getting some new lawmakers coming in. Now, is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? Or where do we stand on this? Now, again, I want to make it very clear. I'm not here to take political sides. I'm not here to take political statements, anything like that. But rather, I do want to point this out because this is actually pretty important. Because remember, lawmakers are the people who pass all the bills, all the pieces of legislation, and they pass it on to the president, right? The president ultimately has the final say to either sign it and turn it into law, or to veto it and say, nope, throw it in the burn pile. We don't like it, okay? You know what I mean? So that's what it really comes down to, okay? So the lawmakers are also very, very important. Now, here's what it comes down to. The new lawmakers are going to be a whole new set of people, right? So obviously, some people are staying, some people are going, new people are coming in, you know what I mean? Things like that. So that's something we need to take into consideration. Now, like I've said before in other videos, and I want to throw this out there because this is very important to understand, all of these new lawmakers, they're going to have new agendas. They're going to have new priorities. They're going to have new beliefs, new thoughts, new things that they want to work on, right? So I would anticipate here, there's going to be a lot going on here over the next couple of years, especially fresh into 2023 as we continue to, get into 2023 here and to get into the new year with the new Congress and all these new lawmakers. There's going to be a lot of new bills, a lot of new proposals, a lot of new packages, a lot of new information hitting the wire. Just like when a new president is elected and brought in, right? What does the president do? Well, they always talk about the first 100 days, right? Every single president does this. the first 100 days, I'm going to do this, 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 and this. And they give you this like huge list of things that they want to do in their first 100 days. They come out swinging, and virtually they do get a lot done, whether we agree with it or not. Again, that's a totally different story. We don't need to go down that road. I'm just simply saying, usually the presidents come in, and the first 100 days, they actually do get kind of a lot done. And after the 100 days goes by, and all the media and, everybody like that tackles them and talks about all the things that they did or didn't do in their first 100 days. Then after that, they kind of just sit back and say, well, the next 3 years and quite a few months here, I'm pretty much good to go. I don't need to do anything else. You know what I mean? So the first 100 days is going to be pretty much the same thing with the new Congress that comes in. They're going to want to come out and get some things done immediately, or at least try, right? Whether they can actually get stuff done and whether they can actually get it through the congressional process, as in passing through the House, passing through the Senate, and then finally getting a signature from the president, that's another story, right? But this is something we certainly need to watch now. Something else I want to point out as well. As you've noticed, probably in a video or two that I've talked about here recently, we've seen huge percentages of the population coming forward and agreeing that stimulus checks are very much needed right now. In fact, a recent poll that came out showed that 63% of the United States and the population shows that yes, we agree that more stimulus checks need to be sent out right now. So that is just under 2/3 of the population. In other words, basically 2 out of every 3 people walking around the streets out there right now agree that more stimulus checks need to go out. We've also agreed, the reports are also showing that we're all, like a huge percentage of the population is blaming the government for all of this inflation. Well, I can tell you this much. Did we cause the inflation or did they? Again, I'm not going to take sides here, but I think we can all see the deer in the headlights, right? And I don't think it's us. Just saying. You know what I mean? We didn't print the money. The Federal Reserve, that's a whole nother story we can talk about in a separate video. But here's the deal. All this inflation is the real deal, right? The inflation is here. It's a real thing. It's something we are all currently dealing with right now. And again, is it our fault, or are we the kind of the benefactors, or not really the benefactors, but are we more like the people that are being, kind of hurt by all this inflation? Yes, 100%. Is the government being hurt by this inflation? No. In fact, they're actually benefiting from this, and here's why. Now, again, I don't want to turn this into this big conspiracy theory. I'm not saying that at all. All I'm simply saying is, with higher prices, what are they doing? They're getting more tax revenues. Are they benefiting from this? You better believe they are, because with higher prices, that simply means we're paying more for things. That means the more we spend, the more we get taxed. Just saying. You know what I'm saying? See here. So again, I don't want to turn this into some conspiracy. I'm just simply telling you, it's the truth of the matter, right? They're getting more tax revenues as a result of this inflation. So it's not like the worst thing for them. But again, it all comes onto the shoulders, yet again, of the consumer, us, the people. And we all know from all the reports that I've talked about for many, many months now, the low income and the fixed income, obviously, are the ones being hurt the most as a result of this. This is no surprise whatsoever. We've known this for a very long time. A couple years now, we've known this, right? So when it comes down to it, here's a few things we need to watch very closely going forward. And again, I don't want to sit here and ramble forever, but I do want to point out some things that we need to continue paying attention to and kind of break this out down for you. So I'm going to give you a few different points here, and these are the things that I'm going to continue watching going forward. And all of this is going to predicate the likelihood of another stimulus check at some point in the relatively near future. All right, so let me break this down for you. I'm not going to go into a ton of detail just because I feel like this video is getting a little bit long already. And again, just want to kind of give you some little points here to kind of pay attention to. All right, so number one is the new Congress. Obviously, like we talked about, let's watch the new Congress very closely. Let's see what they've got up their sleeve here and what are the things that they start proposing. This is something we got to watch very closely. Next, we're going to watch the Federal Reserve. We're going to continue watching the Federal Reserve very closely going forward. They know, based on their most recent FOMC meetings and, of course, the press conferences afterward with the chairman of the Federal Reserve, inflation is still very much a problem in this country, and the Federal Reserve will continue to raise interest rates very aggressively, as they have indicated in their recent meetings. So we've got to watch the Federal Reserve very closely and what they're doing with their interest rate policy. Next, we need to watch inflation. What's going on with inflation? Remember, the more that inflation continues to rage on, that just means the more that this economy is going to contract because people are spending less money. The Federal Reserve will continue to aggressively raise interest rates. Again, we got to watch that one very closely. Next, we're going to watch jobs, the job market, the unemployment rate, the monthly non-farm payroll numbers. And again, I'm watching all that one closely as well. We're going to put this one on the list, as this is something we've got to watch very closely as well, because we've seen here the last couple of reports are showing more jobs are being lost, as in the unemployment rate is rising. People are losing jobs. Do we want that to happen? Well, I mean, you and me, we probably don't, but does the Federal Reserve? Kind of they do, right? Because that's how the economy and how this inflation is going to come down, is by contracting the economy. When the economy contracts, we know jobs are being lost, right? Businesses, large corporations, medium-sized and small businesses and corporations, they lay people off because some of the biggest expenses they have is payroll, right? And they need to weather the storm by kind of hoarding cash. That's what businesses need to do in order to make it out the other side of this storm, right? So the storm being the economic storm. So this is something else I've got on the radar that we need to watch very closely as well. Next, we also need to watch all of the remarks coming out of the lawmakers and the administration, right? We need to watch all of this stuff very closely, because they might be in a situation where they're going to start saying, okay, we've been dealing with this high inflation for a very long time. The consumer, as in the American people, cannot go on like this for very much longer. Virtually all people that had any kind of savings a year ago, a year and a half ago, it's gone. The reports are showing that any savings that people once had, like a year ago, year and a half ago, it's depleted. It is gone. The vast majority of Americans who had any savings have depleted it because of income is X, expenses are X, and expenses are higher than income. Therefore, everybody needs to dip into their savings. Sorry about that. I meant to say dip into their savings more and more every single month. Therefore, it's less money that the people have. And I've just completely lost my train of thought now. You know what I mean? So I apologize. But anyway, you see what I'm saying here? People are really tied up really tight right now, right? And we know from all these reports that we've been seeing as well that more people are floating balances on credit cards. Again, another red flag that we're waving here, saying this is not making sense. All of these things converging do not make any sense right now for the consumer. And we need ongoing payments, a lump sum payment, whatever happens to be a highly focused check, any of this. And when it comes down to it, in the event that another check is approved, will it be including fixed income beneficiaries, SSI, Social Security, SSDI, retirement survivors, VA beneficiaries? Yeah, you better believe it. There's no reason that another check would not include these fixed income beneficiaries, okay? I've talked about this many times before. In the event of another check being approved, by all means, of course, I can't say 100% because I have no clue what Congress is going to do, but in the event another check would be approved, then yes, there's a very, 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 very high likelihood, 99.99% chance that fixed income beneficiaries would also be included. There's just no reason that you wouldn't be included, okay? However, just like everything, there's always a teeny tiny fraction of a percentage point that maybe you wouldn't be included for some weird reason, but I would not worry about that one bit. What we need to do is get Congress talking about more checks. That's really what we need Congress to get doing right now. Anyway, hope this one helps you out. I want to wrap it up there because I feel like this is getting pretty long here. And again, if you need more further clarification, I could literally sit here for a long, long time going through various different situations that are going on right now and why more checks are very much needed and how the whole situation is playing out, kind of painting the picture of more checks. But at this time, like I said earlier, nothing has been approved yet. Anyway, I'm here for you in any way that I can be. Please make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Share the video with your friends, family, social media, and go back and check out any of the other thousands and thousands of videos here on the channel. Until next time, please have a nice day, enjoy, and I'll catch you again later in the next